White-tailed deer can be elusive creatures, skilled at using their senses to evade predators. Part of being a good hunter involves finding creative new ways to outsmart their instincts.
White-tailed deer have a few things that they use to help protect them from predators. With us being one of the biggest predators that they've got to be able to outsmart. Their eyesight, they're always looking for things that are unusual or don't fit in that situation. And that's why Camo is out there to help you blend into your surroundings. Their ears, they can hear things from a long distance away, which is why we're quiet when we're out in the stand. And then obviously their nose. They've got a great ability to smell things that are going on around them, and that's where scents, cover scents and attractants come into play. And frankly, if I had to sit here and pick one of the three that is the least utilized and least understood maybe, and the least put into play, it would have to be the application of scents and how scents, be it a cover scent or an attractive, really plays big into your success or failure in the field. You always hear hunters go, well, the wind changed, it started swirling, and the deer smelled me and it ran away. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means the deer picked up a scent that it's not comfortable with in its environment. It picked up a human scent, or it picked up the smell of your gun oil, or whatever it may be, and it sent it into an alarm state, which caused it and all the deer around it to panic and run and leave the area. And as a hunter, you don't want that scenario to happen, which is why scent plays a big role in helping to eliminate that problem. I really like what Conquest Scents has done when it comes to how you can apply or basically deploy your scents into the wild. So many companies out there have a liquid-based formula. Not saying that liquid-based doesn't work. I'm saying that sometimes it's harder to maintain and manage. If you spill it or you're trying to deploy it out in the field, you've got something that's going to be a little more volatile, so to speak, than a stick-based application that you can basically take the lid off and lay it out. You don't have to worry about it spilling, you don't have to worry about it evaporating, you don't have to worry as much about how you're going to deploy it. And that alone is going to give you an advantage over a lot of other applications that are currently on the market. For me, I really like to use an attractant more so than a cover scent. A lot of people are big on a skunk scent out there. They want to cover their scent. Well, personally, I've always questioned that, dating back to when I was a kid. A skunk, when you smell it, something's gone wrong. So why do I want to smell like a skunk out there? So I've never really bought into that aspect of it. But from an attractant standpoint, I've seen what doe and heat type applications can do. I've taken it out to places and deployed it onto a tree and come back 2 or 3 days later and that tree's been rubbed up. Something's come in there and beat that tree up. That tells me that a deer came to that scent, came to that location and went to work on it. Sometimes I've seen it happen to where I've spotted deer coming long distances away, nose in the air, working that scent line. So anytime you've got a doe in heat type attractant, it's definitely going to give you an added benefit out into the woods when it's the right time of the year.
Find out more about Conquest Scents at their website, conquestscents.com.